Hello, this is Atsushi and this is Sashiko Live Streaming. This is the second half of the Friday live streaming and I will mainly speak in English. Let's see how it's gonna go. Let me just start with the Japanese a little bit. すいません、ありがとうございます。先ほどはすいません、失礼しました。思いっきり急ぎではない世間話でございましたが楽しんできました。後半日本語ではなく英語をがっつりやろうかなと思っています。英語でがっつりやろうかなと思っているのでご容赦いただければと思います。30分から1時間ぐらいなるかな。よろしくお願いします。それでは英語でいきます。Alright, I will switch back to the English if I receive any questions regarding Sashiko culture, Sashiko stitching. I am happy to answer that unless I don't have to stop my stitching. I will talk about some mending today, actually. I was planning to talk about it, mending, as well as some other topics of Japanese Sashiko and its cultural understanding. Especially dualism. Let's see how it goes. Okay. I will first oh shoot. I will be right back. Give me few minutes. Few minutes please. Sorry, just a second. I forgot about it. I'll be right back.はい、戻ってきたんですが、今度は指抜きがない。Sorry about that. I'll be right back. Where is my table? I didn't say don't speak Japanese. I did not say don't speak Japanese. You can speak you can write anything in Japanese, but I'm gonna just say I'm gonna focus on talking in English. Although probably many here are not English speaker at this time. Okay. So the last, was it? Okay, let me redo it. So this is Sashiko Live Streaming. Sorry that I took 5 minutes to restart everything. This is Sashiko Stitching, this is Atsushi, and I will be doing Sashiko Stitching while I talk about Sashiko borrowed Japanese textile while I make Sashiko Stitching. And as I did in the previous time, which was probably Wednesday or something, I will answer the questions if there's any comments and questions that I can answer without stopping my stitching. I usually do the live streaming in Japanese on Friday and Tuesday at 9 o'clock or something in the morning. I'm still trying to find the best time to do this in English, like afternoon or in the morning. Unfortunately, I cannot do it at night in the Eastern time zone, so has to be sometimes during the day over the weekdays. So I don't know when is the good time to do it, but my resolution for 2020 is to do more live streaming in English. So I'll find the time. Like, I've been trying to do this live streaming since 2017 or 18 in English. I try to do it. I try to make it more like a routine. Then I kind of give up because of some challenges, because of some difficulties. I feel quite challenging to stitch and talk in English. But I think I'm getting better and better every time I do it, so I hope I can continue that this year. Doing the live streaming in Japanese is much easier for me because, well, of course it is easier because the Japanese is my mother language. But at the same time, it's easier because I get a lot of kind of comments on questions. So although I ask my followers to be kind of mindful when they ask questions, but sometimes in the live streaming it is very helpful to receive the questions, and not the technical question, but if it's the philosophical mindset, cultural, historical questions, I'm happy to answer that, and it's gonna make the live streaming more smooth. And today I brought some topics to discuss. After this much stitching, I will talk about the mending a little bit, and after that I will talk about a little bit of dualism which I would like to share throughout Sashiko, which I probably talked about the dualism on YouTube as the video. Sometimes I want to repeat that so I can communicate more. It is quite important to introduce what I'm doing now, so I may not talk about dualism today. Although I said I will, has been 2 years since I started stitching, so I may just talk about the mending a little bit and live streaming. I don't know. That's the kind of thing. Like, live streaming is something I do when I feel right. I mean, I don't want to make it like assignment or task or work. If I make it like work, then I will one day will not like it. So it's like a leaf in the air that I kind of decide what to do by the atmosphere. So I apologize for that, but your contribution is also very helpful. Thank you. Yosh, not a yosh. Okay, I'll talk about the denim a little bit while I do the mending as well. So I'll talk about the mending while I do the denim. It's vice versa. Okay. By the way, so this is the denim at this point. I think 2/3 is done. Another 1/3 of stitching, and then it's gonna be done. But it's like this right now. I don't know how many hours I spent on that, but I only do this in the live streaming, and I probably started last month, so probably 10 hours or so. 10 hours or so. Probably less. The whole leg will have this pattern if I continue that, and then I will fill out all the in-between lines, and then it's gonna look like the Asanoha patterns, which I have here. I made it a little bit smaller on this one. It's a little small. It's about 2-inch size, and this one is actually the one I'm wearing right now, which has a bigger size. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. So this one is more like, it's really big, right? The pattern is quite big, and I use a different color, so it's not as vivid. This is the Kakishibu persimmon tannin dye thread. The color changes over time, so I like it a lot. So this is the more like subtle patterns. What is that? Oh, there we go. So what I wanted to talk about today is that the mending. I think many people like Sashiko because of its mending perspective. And actually did it. I did it yesterday. It was yesterday actually. So I think I filmed it. I filmed it nicely yesterday, so I will make another YouTube video to talk about how to make this denim mending. But personally, strictly speaking, I do not call this mending Sashiko much. It's just the repairing mending. So I do call this part Sashiko, but this part I do not call Sashiko. Like, it's my personal opinion, but in general, probably many Japanese people call this one Sashiko as well. And by definition, this should be Sashiko too. But I just feel like it's my personal opinion. I like the running rhythm of needles when I call something Sashiko. So this place, there was a bigger hole like this. So Sashiko makes the fabric much stronger. So this denim has been, I've been using this denim for 3 years pretty heavily, but there's no damages on the actual fabric. It's quite good. It has been really good denim. However, the bottom, like the hem, no, the bottom of the legs, and also somewhere that it's not stitched can get damaged pretty badly. So Sashiko does make fabric stronger. At the same time, Sashiko makes the fabric weaker on those areas that it's not stitched. So fabric is all continuous, right? It's not like, well, you can bind it or you can patchwork, but usually fabric is one sheet like this, one sheet of fabric. So when I stitched here, the edge or toward the place where you didn't stitch gets weaker. In contrast, it's not making the fabric weaker by itself. It is just making fabric weaker in contrast to the place where you stitched, and that place became stronger. Therefore, one place get weaker. I hope it makes sense. But because of that, and even without Sashiko stitching, usually people get some holes and stuff like that. So instead of waiting this to be completely damaged, like a big hole, it is recommended to kind of patch it before that. At least that's what I do. And there are a lot of ways to patch it, and it doesn't have to be Sashiko technique. I don't even use the Sashiko stitching, running stitch to make this one. I just, use the neat thread and make. By the way, this video will be uploaded on the YouTube sometimes later, not today probably, but I will try to make a video with my narration. But one thing I would like to say that is, there's a two-way to mend the fabric, right? Like one is patch over, one is patch from the back. It's just the preference. It's really the preference, and I kind of prefer that patching from inside, from the back side, so that when this fabric gets more damaged, it's gonna show the whole patterns coming out. And that makes like a borrow looking. If you're looking for the borrow looking, it's the way to do it. Instead of patching over it, if you patch from the inside, the old or fragile fabric will be on the surface, and that's gonna make the item more borrow looking. I'll show the sample. So this is just a quite useful sample that I use every day too. This is my card case. I have a lot of credit card inside, but a lot of. If I patch it from top, it will look very good, but it doesn't look like borrow at all. It will cover all the damages, but you have to kind of wait until this gets damaged. Then you'll start showing the damaged fabric inside. However, if you stitch from the inside, you can have the already damaged already damaged fabric on the newer fabric, so it looks like borrow. The more you use it, it will look like that. So it is very much your preference. I did it both because I wanted to make a sample, as well as this side was just too damaged to patch from the inside. So if it gets so damaged here, probably soon, I will probably have to patch it over. But patching over is not a bad idea at all, because eventually that fabric patched over will get damaged as well. So the fabric will start showing. So there's nothing wrong with either way. But as my preference, I usually patch it from the back side if there's a chance. Alright, so I'll show you the inside a little bit, which I'm gonna do right now a little bit. So when I patch the fabric either from inside or outside, I usually use the Sashiko stitched fabric. Instead of just using the fabric, I usually prepare the fabric it has already Sashiko stitching on two reasons. One, it looks good. Two, the fabric is much stronger than the simple fabric. So if I patch the Sashiko fabric, Sashiko stitched fabric on the damaged part, I can skip one process of stitching everything together to make the fabric stronger. So I did have this kind of swatch from my past project, and then I don't want to say just, but I simply just patched it. There's no like difficult technique. I just do that, do this and that. Again, I will show that in another video, but I don't really call this Sashiko yet. I don't know. Some people call it Sashiko. It's perfectly fine. I don't really have any problem with that. Again, this is the hand stitching, so I don't mind calling that Sashiko. But personally, just my personal opinion, it is kind of outside of my comfort zone. How about that? Anyway, there's no difficult technique when you do that. We just have to make sure that the fabric doesn't come out. I do not make any knots in the regular Sashiko stitching like this. I do not make any knots in this kind of stitching, even on the denim. I do not make knots, and this is how our Sashiko tradition goes. However, when we do this kind of patching itself, please do make a knot, because otherwise the mending might go off. So then, one by one is good. One by one is good. One by one is good. It's much slower than what I usually do, but it is okay. It is okay to do that. I really strongly recommend Sashiko thread, especially like a thick Sashiko thread for this process, because again, our goal is to make the fabric stronger, and the Sashiko thread makes the fabric stronger in many cases. So I don't want you to waste your time of mending by using some cheap, not a cheap, but like decoration purposed thread will not do a good job for the purpose of mending. So that'll be probably very important to use something very strong. What we use is pretty strong thread. So at the same time, avoid using like super strong thread neither, like nylon or those, that you can get artificial thread which can be much stronger than the cotton. I've tried that before, but the strong thread also has to have the possibility of getting damaged. It shouldn't be, cannot be too strong. I want the fabric and thread age together over time. So I want the thread to be strong, but at the same time I want the thread to be ageable. I don't know how to say that. I want the thread to be able to age together with the fabric. So again, this is not in my preference. This is not Sashiko, but it is okay. I really won't be offended. I will not be offended if somebody called this Sashiko at all, because it is, it can be a part of Sashiko. The thing I don't like about somebody calling Sashiko without actual concept of Sashiko is not stitching at all. This is sort of stitching, like it's not rhythmical stitching I advocate. It is not running stitch, but at the same time it is stitching with appreciating the fabric. So you can, I don't mind. I don't mind anybody calling this Sashiko at all. If it's printed, yeah, I do mind. I mean, I will not do anything rational, but I do not want to accept. I do not want to agree with that. So after making a lot of those mending, you're ready to go. At the same time, I want to make sure that it's attached properly or nicely. I probably mentioned so many times in my website and also the Facebook, not a Facebook, the YouTube, but the whole purpose of Sashiko stitching is to make fabric stronger, right? And to make fabric stronger, the thread's purpose is not to bind things together, not only to bind things together. Right now, this stitching is about binding the fabric together with using the knot. So I bind this fabric to this denim edge as strong as possible by using the Sashiko thread. So the purpose of this Sashiko thread is to bind this fabric together. It's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, I want to follow this pattern to make a running stitch like this, so that the thread will be part of the fabric over time. Not today, not tomorrow, probably a few years from now. But by using it, I want this thread to be a part of the fabric, and that's the goal of this Sashiko stitching today. Once I do this patching, this denim will be good for another year or so. Probably more than that. A few years, 5 years, I don't know. Depends on how bad I use, how good I use actually. See, Sashiko is not really difficult at all. It's just a matter of having a good needle, good thread, good tools, and then follow some basics. Okay, has been 30 minutes or so I will be off soon. I said that I was gonna talk about the dualism today, but I will skip it today because it has been 30 minutes, and then it's gonna probably take another 30 minutes or so. So I will stop it after I finish this much stitching. Thank you so much for watching. I will upload these videos on YouTube as well as the archive, so if you missed it, you can watch it again. As well as I will upload some of the videos that I made this swatches this much, so that'll be helpful, I hope. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. My pleasure. God, it's so hard. This has like 5 layers of fabric together, all together, 5 layers. And it is good. The layers are good. Layers are always, oops. Layers are always good to have because we will use it. The whole purpose of doing this is that we can use it again. And then by using the fabric will get well torn, of course. And then, we'll do it again. So layers are good. And the interesting part of the fabric is the fabric getting damaged means that the fabric getting thinner. So even if the fabric has many, many layers, it's good to have those layers so that the fabric can be thinner. And that repetition of stitching, like really repetition of Sashiko running stitch or those mending stitching is called borrow. So borrow is not a technique, borrow is not the fancy word, it's just the result of repetitive stitching that many Japanese did, which is super difficult. I mean, not difficult, super hard. Okay, this much stitching should be good. Again, it's perfectly fine to make a knot when we do the borrow. It's sometimes important to have a good stitch. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. ありがとうございました。第2部英語も微妙でしたけど終わろうかと思います。微妙でしたって言っちゃった。それでは、皆さんありがとうございました。来週火曜日普通にお会いできたらと思います。ありがとうございます。Alright, have a nice day, have a nice weekend. Good night. Bye bye.